Hi everyone, my name is Sarah Bonsignore and I'm a pianist, composer, artist, producer, teacher living in Nashville, Tennessee. And I'm so excited to show you my new piano book. It is called 20 Beautiful Piano Solos. And after teaching for 25 years, I always found that there was sort of a gap between beginner students and advanced students. I could never find enough repertoire for them in the middle. So beginner, intermediate level, that was fun and easy to play, but also sounded a little bit more complicated so that, it could be impressive and beautiful and musical. So anyway, I started writing some of my own pieces for my students and I put them all into this book. And in the beginning of the book, I have written 5 warm-ups. So I also found that a lot of my students had issues with their 4th and 5th finger being a little weak, which is totally normal. But I've written some warm-ups for that issue. I've also incorporated lots of chords and inversions. So root position, first inversion, second inversion, back to root position. Those were all C chords, just in different shapes. And I love using inversions of chords for my own songwriting, so I figured let me make some warm-ups and pieces that incorporate all of that. I also don't love drilling scales, although I did that my whole life. So I've written some pieces that incorporate the major and minor scales that are just more fun to play and practice. And in the end of the book, all the warm-ups are in a bunch of different keys, so students can start to think about modulating or changing key. So today I'm going to play a few of the warm-ups and some of my favorite pieces for you, and I hope you like it. The book is going to be available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble, and you can download it at my website, sarahbonsignore.org. And this is the first warm-up. It's called Starting Small, and it's in C major, and we're counting in 1 and a 2 and a. So 6, 8, and it goes like this. That's it. And in the end of the book, we have it in F major and in D minor. Okay, so that's one of the warm-ups. And then another warm-up is called Rhythm Warm-Up, and I like this one, and I guess this might have been inspired by my training that I did in Dalcroze Eurythmics. I absolutely love the Dalcroze method, and I use a lot of the elements of Dalcroze when I teach chorus and piano. And so this rhythm warm-up, the first part is walking, right, the beat. The second part is skipping. And the third part is running. So I use all the same notes for all 3 sections. So we start simple with the walking. And the same notes for skipping. And then running. So those are the warm-ups, and then in the back of the book, that's in a couple of keys, different keys. This one is a piece called Morning Dew, and it is an arpeggio warm-up for the left hand in C major. So this is an arpeggio, and this is our warm-up. And these are little 16th notes, so they're pretty fast, and it sounds like this. So I put in some fingering suggestions. Some people find it more comfortable to play with a 4, a 3. I think I did it both ways. So you have to either figure it out for yourself or talk to your teacher and figure out what fingers work for your hand. Okay. Now I would like to play a piece that's one of my favorites in the book. This one is called Lost in Paris. And just a little backstory. My brother Matthew, so I dedicated this to my brother Matthew, who died very young, and he died of leukemia when I was a baby, and he was almost 3. And my aunt Vivian, who was Mauritian and French Mauritian, gave him this little music box that would play La Vie en Rose, and he would sit out in the garden and listen to this piece. Apparently, I mean, I was just a baby, but he would listen to this piece all the time. So every time I hear La Vie en Rose, I think of my brother Matthew, and I think of my parents, and I think of Paris. And as a child, I always wanted to go to Paris, and in my mind, it was just this amazing place. And then in my 20s, I had an opportunity to go. I went by myself, had no money, spent a few weeks just drinking coffee and reading and walking the streets of Paris, and I had the most amazing time all by myself. And I think it was then that I realized that I would be okay in my life, you know, that I didn't need another person. I didn't need a boyfriend at the time to make me happy. I was completely happy to be on my own. So anyway, this is called Lost in Paris, and it's in the key of G major, and it sounds like this. I'll play those last 2 measures again. I left out a note. There it is. And the last piece I want to show you in this little video is Waltz for Elise's Sister. So I'm sure that you guys know For Elise, that was written by Beethoven, and there are so many stories about the origin of that piece, but in my mind, Elise was this beautiful woman, and he wrote this gorgeous piece for her, which was like a pop song back in those days, you know, so popular. And he proposed to her and she turned him down. And so it's just really sad. I feel like Beethoven's heart must have been crushed. And I also felt really bad for Elise's sisters, if she had them. And no one got to write them a piece. So I've written this one for Elise's sister, and it's in the key of A minor, and it's a waltz. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And it sounds like this. for Lisa's sister. There are around 20 pieces in my book, and progressive, so starting a little simple, getting to a little more complicated. And check out the YouTube videos. I have some tutorials. I've already done one for my falling water piece. I dedicated this whole book to my mom for her 70th birthday because it started out with one piece the day after Christmas. I wrote for her birthday, and then a few days later I had 10 pieces, and then a week later I had 20 pieces and a bunch of warm-ups. And at this point I have 60 or 70 pieces, and I have a lot of books ready to go, so I'm really excited. But I'm starting with this book, and pretty soon book 2 will be available also on my website and on Amazon. And I plan to have a tutorial for every piece in the book on YouTube. So please subscribe to my channel, and that way you won't miss anything. And I really hope you enjoy this book and that you start to play a little piano, and because music will bring you joy.